The course itself is structured in these sort of 10 overall units. Don't worry, they're not all as equally long and pedantic as this introduction. We'll start off early by doing some image processing because you have to manipulate images to do a variety of types of interaction with them later. And we actually have a problem set early on there that goes from image processing to getting some basic structure. Then we'll talk about the geometry of cameras and camera models and what happens when you have multiple views and how you can relate them to each other. We'll get down in the image and talk about features, computing something about one image and figuring out where in the other image those same points occur. Because once you can do that, there's a lot you can do in terms of thinking about either transforming images or computing geometry between them. We'll spend just a little bit of time talking about how images get formed in the first place, what we call lightness and brightness. How does light interact with material and then come to your imaging sensor in order to make a picture? We'll spend a bit of time talking about motion. Remember, we talked about not just static images, but we can actually have sequences of images. So the question of how things are moving can be looked at. And these are sort of separated into motion in the image, and that is sort of how the pixels change, and then tracking the object. And we'll focus a bit on tracking as well. Then we'll get to something which we're going to do just a little bit of classification and recognition. And some of you may be saying, oh, that's disappointing. No, it's not disappointing, okay? A lot of classification and recognition is deeply steeped in machine learning. So what we'll do is we'll do some of it here, sort of some basic pattern recognition, and then computer vision applied to recognition. And then if you want to do more in the recognition universe, you'll have to learn some machine learning as well. The course concludes with just some extra stuff that is just useful to know if you're actually going to do computer vision work. And then finally, because I can't help myself, and neither can Arpan because he has true inspiration from biological systems, we'll talk a little bit about how the human vision system works.